Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Susie Q's Stamping Sketch Saturday. That's a mouthful and a lot of S's. My name is Sue Sanders, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Lake of the Ozarks / Eldon, Missouri. Welcome today to all of my previous viewers, to all of my new viewers. Thank you very, very much for joining me today. I usually go and do a video every Saturday with a new sketch card. I want to remind you that if you make this sketch, please upload it to my Facebook page, Suzie Q's Stamping, and just upload it there, and then everybody can see what you've been working on, and I really, really appreciate that. If this is your first time, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I would like to remind you to hit the like and subscribe button, and that way you'll be notified every time that I post a new video. All right, let's get started. So here's a couple of examples that I did with this sketch card. It's a very easy sketch, and yet you can do so many different things with it by dressing it up, or as I've done in this one here, just letting the paper do all of the work for you and having a wonderful card. This one over here, I did do a die cut with some of the flowers, not flowers, but leaves, and then just stamped and then put some embellishments on there. So this is our sketch card today, and it is February 28th, 2026, and this is number 8 in my series for 2026. I'm trying to do this as a regular thing and get on the ball with it. All right, so I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day. Ours was quite uneventful. We did have a dinner at home with my husband, my daughter, and her husband, and my granddaughter. And so we made it very special, and we had some little treats and things for us. So if you want to stamp along with me, you will just need a card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Let me get my one that we're going to put together over here. So here is my card base, and then you will need to have a layer of your DSP, or if you want to use another cardstock color, you can certainly do that and use that and run it through the embossing folder. So that would also make a very pretty simple card. So this piece is 3.5 by 5 1/4. Then I have a little tag, and it is 2.5 by 1.5. And I cut the flag at 3/4 of an inch in. So all I did was measure the center of this, which was 3/4 of an inch, made a little tick mark, and then I put in my flag. For this one, I also did some die cutting and some extra stamping with the pretty floral paper. I'm sorry, Stamp Set and Dies, which this paper, I believe, it's been a while since I've done this one, coordinates with. So that's what we're doing with that. But there is your basic sketch card. All right, so let's go ahead and stamp our greeting on here. And I'm going to use the greeting just because. And this comes from I had it laying here. What happened to it? There it is. My desk is a mess. This is a greeting from the February product of the month. If you weren't able to get it, see if you can find somebody that's willing to sell theirs, because I'm using the Just Because, and I love, love, love the stamp set. It's got so many nice greetings in it. So I'm using the Just Because on the front, and on the inside, You're on My Mind. I had several people over the last couple of months lose a loved one, and so I'm trying, part of my goals for 2026 is to send out more cards to those that may need just a little pick-me-up. I am stamping in the Secret C, and I'm going to stamp kind of at the top of this. Oh dear, do you know what I just did? I stamped on it backwards. So we got to flip that over because my straight edge goes to the right. So not a problem. We're just going to stamp this again. just because. And we're going to take our white piece and we're going to stamp "You're on my mind." It's always nice after you lose a loved one to get little cards in the mail during the period of time when it's fresh and you're having the funeral or the memorial service. Everybody's there for you, but then all of a sudden they kind of disappear. And so when you can make somebody happy by giving them a homemade card, that's always a plus for them. I know it's been a year since my mother passed away, and so, it's kind of nice when people remember and are thinking about you when you're going through difficult times. I'm going to take my garden green and I'm going to stamp this leaf down here at the bottom. And this is on the inside of my card. And I'm going to take my Petunia Pop, and I'm looking for my other stamp, but there it is. And I'm going to use Petunia Pop, and I'm going to make it 2 different colors. So I'm going to make it a lighter one. So I'm just stamping it up, and then I'm going to stamp it off on a piece of scratch paper. And then I'm going to stamp it, upside down like they show. Just kind of barely touching those leaves. And then I'm going to take the inside of the flower and I'm going to stamp it up, and I'm going to use it full strength, and then I'm going to line it up and we're going to stamp that. So that's the inside of our card, and we're all done using our stamps and our inks. So let's go ahead and put this card together. That is my chime clock that you're hearing in the background. Every time it kind of goes off, it reminds me of my mom, and I have got some ink there, which it's okay because who I'm going to send this card to, she'll never notice. All right, let's assemble this card. We're going to lay our DSP down on the front, and it's going to go right in the center of our card base. And you want to make sure that you have equal margins on both of your sides and your top and your bottom. All right, let's go ahead and put this in the inside of our card. So one thing I like about this sketch is you can do it very simple, or you can dress it up. Sometimes we have such beautiful paper that you want to just showcase the paper. And this is one of those cards that you can do that with by just adding a greeting and a stamp, and then you're done with it. So now we're going to put this down, and I'm not going to pop this up, but you definitely could. I'm getting to where the post office charges way too much money. So I'm going to place my greeting right there along the edge of my card. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to dry fit it just to make sure that this is going to fit, because we don't want to stick something down and then have it not fit. So I'm going to stick it down just like that. So I'm going to take my precision bottle of glue, and we're just going to dab a little bit of glue on here. But let me show you a trick. When you've got a very fine die cut that you want to put some glue on the back of, just squeeze a little bit of glue out on your silicone mat. I think I might have a clog in my glue bottle. And then I have a couple of sponges that I've put on a binder clip. And now I can just pick that glue up with that, and I can just kind of dab it on. I need some more glue. Get it unstuck. So I always keep a pin handy so that I can poke not my finger, my glue bottle. Sometimes my eyes just don't want to work. So I just kind of get that clog moved out of there. And now here we'll put some more glue down. There we go. And I'm going to get my reverse tweezers here. I just shook the camera. I'm sorry, ladies. And I'm just going to put down some glue on that leaf. And then I'm going to lay it down here on my front of my card, like so. And I'm going to do the same thing with my flower, simply because I've got the glue here that I can put that on. You could definitely pop this up if you want to. Just set that aside. And now we're just going to place our flower right below our greeting and on top of our leaves. So there we go on that. Now let's come in with some embellishments. And one of the colors that's in this paper is the Secret Sea, as well as the cloud cover. And I think what I'm going to do is use the, yes, I'm looking for my take your pick tool that I just had here. So we'll grab another one. I'm going to take the Secret Sea, and I'm going to put some embellishments on here with the Secret Sea. So we're going to put one big dot there and a smaller dot right there. And then we'll take another big one and we will place it up here. So there we have our gems on there. We have a very pretty card with the inside done. And so that is our card sketch for February 28th, 2026. I hope you all make this card. Please share it with me because I'd love to see what paper and what you do with your cards. Join me again next week for another Stamping with Suzie Q's Sketch Saturday. Bye, everybody.